BC. Welcome back to Hub Tunes. I'm Mike. I was thinking about doing a video, kind of a 2020 rewind, because that's what everyone wants to do, is revisit the year 2020. Other than the year being a complete shit show and life-changing and mind-altering and just a downright horrible time, I think there was some really good music put out in 2020. I didn't join the VC making videos until March 1st of 2021 was my first video. So I kind of missed out on everyone's year-end videos and all that and best of albums of 2020. So I thought I'd do a little rewind and go back and talk about a few things that I listened to, because I really think there was some great stuff released in 2020. We had just amazing tone poets. The Blue Note Tone Poets series was wonderful. It really kept me going through the whole year. There was just some fantastic albums released as tone poets last year. I don't know how Blue Note's gonna top what they released in 2020. I've seen the list for 2021 and it looks wonderful, and I'm getting used to passing ships. I know I talked about that in my last review for my Vinyl Finds, Andrew Hill's Passing Ships. I'm really starting to dig it. It's challenging, but I love it. So we had great tone poet releases, Analog Productions, some beautiful stuff with the Helen Merrill album, just the two Coltrane's, Love Supreme and Ballads. That just really good reissues in 2020. But we also had some great bands release some really solid music. So I thought I pulled like 10 or 12 that I remember listening to over and over last year. So let's just get started. The first one is a band called Sorry. This is their album 925. Came out 2020. Pretty cool band. Guy and a girl. I forget her name. She's a pretty cool vocalist. I kind of like her. She's very similar to Fantagram, who I've shown several times on this channel. Kind of get like a Garbage feel. Every once in a while, I hear Shirley Manson come through on this album. So there's definitely a feel of Garbage. So check this band out. Really cool. I had tickets to see them in 2020. Obviously, didn't happen. Hopefully a new album comes out and they'll tour with it. So we'll see. Because I think this actually sold fairly well. I mean, I'm sure they'll be opening for someone or playing in a small club somewhere. So yeah, Sorry. The album is 925. Pretty cool band. A lot of bands came back strong. A lot of veteran rockers and veteran musicians came back pretty strong in 2020. I was really surprised. This was one. I've shown this several times on this channel. This is the Dream Syndicate. The Universe Inside. Yes. This is their album from last 2020. It's a double album. I've shown this several times. I showed this for Nick Rudo's contest. It is a psych rock album, and it is fantastic. This is a rocker. This thing is great. The Dream Syndicate have been around for decades. They've made some pretty cool records. They've been some hit or miss stuff in between, but this one is a hit, and this one might be one of my favorites. It is, no short songs on here. They're all over 6-7 minutes long, even longer. Just psych rock, really good stuff. Modern psych. Love this album. One of my favorites of 2020. I'm gonna put that aside. Another band that came back really strong. in 2020 was The Pretenders, Hate for Sale. This is a good album, a really good album. I like all the Pretenders albums. There were a couple in the early 90s that kind of, but I love everything she does. This is Chrissie Hynde and Martin Chambers, and then just a cast of rotating musicians pretending to be pretenders. Solid rock and roll album. It's not going to change the world. It's just the Pretenders singing rock and roll. Her voice sounds phenomenal, absolutely phenomenal. It's a little high in the mix. If I had one complaint about this album, I think her vocals are a little too high in the mix. But yeah, it's a good one. Great album. Another one, a band that came back in 2020 that shame on the record company for letting this go by without getting more pub. Their record company, I don't even know who it is, really let them down. And this is the Boomtown Rats. Boomtown Rats came back with an album in 2020 and no one fucking knows it. This is a good rocking album. It's got a couple of stinkers on here. There's a couple songs that are filler. Probably could have done without. It's awesome. It is a great album. It's called Citizens of Boomtown. It is on this beautiful vinyl, this beautiful gold vinyl. Yeah, it's Bob Geldof and all the original members of the Boomtown Rats. First album in what, 30 years? It's got to be, right? Great album, and no one knows this came out. No one knows the Boomtown Rats had a new album in 2020. Next up, another guy who did pretty good in 2020. The vinyl didn't come out until 2021, but the album came out, or we got this in 2020, and this was Paul McCartney 3. This is the Target version. I also have the indie exclusive on white vinyl. I have no idea where it is, but this is the Target one. Sounds good, nice record. I'm very critical of Paul McCartney. You guys will probably see that as we keep going in this channel. His solo stuff is hit or miss for me. His 80s stuff, honestly, I think is awful. I didn't need all of the useless collaborations with anyone who would collaborate with him. I thought was just a waste of time. I do like some of the Elvis Costello stuff that he did on Flowers in the Dirt. I think that was pretty meaningful. But the rest of the 80s Paul McCartney stuff you can keep. I like Paul McCartney 2. 1 and 2 are okay. 3 is really, really good. Yes, he's almost 80. And you can hear it. His voice he's struggling at times. He can't sing like he used to, but he makes it work. His vocals are terrific on this. I absolutely love this album. I really, really do. It's one of my favorite solo Paul McCartney albums. And maybe it's because it's new, but I mean, it sure as hell beats that Egypt Station garbage. I can't stand that album. It's overproduced, and this is just stripped down Paul McCartney playing music. And it's Paul at his best, really. There's some really good grooves on here. I like this album. I think it's great. I'm Weird, which you guys have probably already figured out if you've been watching my videos. I like Radiohead. I like members of Radiohead's solo albums better than Radiohead. I love Philip Selway's 2 solo albums. His first one, Familia, is one of my favorite albums. I absolutely love it. Just that raw, stripped down vibe that he has going on that album. The second one is good too. I don't think it's quite as good, but I love that album. And this is Ed OBrien released a solo album. This is Earth. He released this in 2020. Probably my second favorite album of 2020. I'm not putting these in any order, by the way. The whole ranking thing doesn't really do anything for me because it all changes from day to day. But this is an album that consistently stayed with me throughout the entire year of 2020. I love this album. It does have a little bit, there's times where it does have a little bit of a Radiohead vibe, but it's a little more upbeat, a little more poppy at moments. The songs are a little more drawn out. There's some 6-7 minute songs on here. I love this album. Ed O'Brien's Earth. Check this out. Radiohead fans would love it, and I think people who don't like Radiohead would actually really like this too. Highly recommend that. This is a band that I've seen several times live. This is Ohm. This is their second album, I believe. I've seen them a couple of times. They opened for Jeff Tweedy. I saw them the two of them do acoustic, and then I saw them once. I forget who they opened up for, but they did a full band. So I've seen them twice. And this is a great album. This is Fantasize Your Ghost. It's on a groovy turquoise-ish vinyl. Good harmonies, sweet songs, a little rockin'. The first album really rocks. This one rocks too. I like them both. I don't know which one I like better, actually. It might be this one. Kind of leaning towards this. I believe they have a new album coming out in 2021, so hopefully we'll see them on the road. They tour a lot. They are, they're always on the road from what I remember. So, this is Ohm. Cool band. Looking forward to new music from them. Really, really good stuff. This is Vita Blue. This is not going to show up because it's super glossy, but you can kind of get it's trippy. This is Vita Blue. This is Crossing Lines. This is Paige McConnell from Fish. He is the keyboardist. I am not the biggest Fish head. I like their music. I have a couple of their records. I've seen them live maybe twice. They are absolutely terrific musicians. Tons of respect for them and what they do. Not really my jam, but I do get it. I understand that they're pretty talented. This is a double album. It's very keyboard based. Obviously, he's a keyboardist. I like it. I like it a lot. I think Fish fans will like it, and I think people who are not into Fish would like it. It's really upbeat and fun and a little jammy. Some of the songs do get out there a little bit, but nothing wild and crazy. I believe this is their second album. I could be wrong. But this is Crossing Lines by Vita Blue. And it comes on I don't know, people like to see vinyl colors. I don't really care. This is I came to this late. I'll be honest, I did not discover this in 2020. I discovered it in 2021, and this is Painted Shield. This is a really cool record. I adore this record. This is what's his name from Pearl Jam. Now I'm totally spacing out on his name. But this is Painted Shield. This is a wonderful record. I highly recommend this. This is actually a Norman Maslow suggestion. Check this out. Really cool band. Really cool band. Painted Shield. Last one. And then we're done. This is probably my favorite album of 2020. It's another older band that came back and did a really solid album. I think it had been 18 years since they released an album. All the original members. and that is the Psychedelic Furs, Made of Rain. This album is awesome. It's awesome straight through. In fact, some of the songs, the later tracks, the deeper cuts are actually my favorite. There's a song called "Come All Ye Faithful" on here that is just fantastic. I think it's one of the best Psychedelic Furs songs ever. And I know you guys can see it's a purple. It's actually a really pretty vinyl. It's really, I don't know if, yeah, there you go. Really pretty vinyl. Made of Rain by the Psychedelic Furs. Yeah, maybe people don't even know they released an album in 2020. Although I think it sold pretty well from what I understand. It would have been nice if they could have toured with it. Maybe they still will. Maybe they'll get on the road soon. But if they do, I'm there. I love the Psychedelic Furs, and it's classic Furs. It sounds just like Love My Way or any of the Mirror Moves. It's classic, but it's got a nice, fresh, modern vibe to it. It's absolutely wonderful, and it's one of probably my favorite album of 2020. And that's that. My 2020 rewind. I don't know. I just kind of felt like I wanted to do that. I felt like I missed out on 2020. So, there you go. Questions, comments, snide remarks. What were you guys listening to in 2020 while we were all stuck at home? Let me know in the comments. I probably missed out on a call. There's a few other things I think I missed out. The Thelonious Monk issue, new live album that came out was a treat. Obviously not an audiophile recording, but what a wonderful treasure that was to have released in 2020. That was great. That live release. I love that. Yeah, and that's about it. So questions, comments, snide remarks, put them in the comments section down below, and discuss 2020 if you guys really feel like going back to it. Take care, stay safe, be well.